Hello and welcome to a special late night edition of Stupid for Fantasy Football. I'm your host, Adam. This is Jabber, who's hiding in shame after not even making the playoffs. And Marty, who's still hanging in there, along with me. Marty, you're still in it. You're still cruising along, ready to play in the next phase of the playoffs.
I love playoffs. I love Monday nights. It's football time here on Stupid for Fantasy Football.
And listen,
it's
guys,
playoffs.
It is. It's
playoffs.
Playoffs?
We want you guys to get these free agents before anybody else. So we're doing this show tonight. We're going to get it up on Blip and YouTube tomorrow so that you can get to it before your waiver wires go through. But keep in mind, the games just happened. So we're going to tell you about some injuries. We know what we know. The official reports don't come out till Tuesday, and the good ones don't come out till Wednesday or Thursday. So we're going to give you our best guess, but make sure to follow us, Stupid, the number 4 football on Twitter. Make sure you do that so we can update you as the week goes on, because this will be the least accurate we've ever been on injuries because of the reports not coming out.
Adam doesn't sleep. He's on that Twitter nonstop.
Nonstop.
But our free
he's
agents,
like Dr. Zach.
He's a machine.
We got
He
free
is.
agents. If you had Aaron Rodgers and you're worried, we got a guy for you.
Oh, I have tons of
You're
guys.
like,
for you.
he's like Dr. Z, not Dr. Zach, but Dr. Z, right? The prognosticator.
Yeah, but I
right,
don't like
for us.
Dr. Z. He always gets it wrong.
Yeah, I know, but
I like Berman,
but
who just picks
he
the
got a
49ers
few-
and the Bills every
49ers
year.
and Bills
It's just
every
funny.
year. He's the best.
All right.
49ers
First
and
off,
the Bills.
I got to thank our new partner. Our new partner is Drobo. Because of Drobo, we don't have to worry about storage anymore. You can get up to a 64 terabyte drive, and even bigger, because Drobo is a bunch of drives that you can hot swap. You can put in different drives, increase your storage capacity, and never have to worry about filling up a hard drive with music, or movies, or whatever.
HD shows.
Or HD, or pirated ESPN stuff. Who said that?
I meant our shows.
Like
Wait,
this one.
Yeah, our shows. Our shows. Don't pay for any of that ESPN stuff. All right, but just so you know, go to their website. They've got some specials. You put in S Garage, right? Put in S Garage, and you can get some great deals on Dromo products, up to $150 off. They're a great partner. We thank them. They're helping us get this show to you.
Nice logo right
Them
there.
and of course, always thank you, New Tech, who is brilliant TriCaster. 2 great companies helping us get this done. We're going to start off with, as we always do, our little segment where we complain about what went wrong, although not a lot of complaining on my end. Who screwed me? All right. Let me speak over here for a moment. Nobody screwed me because I had a bye for my playoffs. But here's why I feel like I've got a screw coming, and that is because my team blew up. Michael Vick, Darren McFadden, Pierre Garçon, Wes Welker, Calvin Johnson. My whole team blew up when it didn't matter at all, which makes me think that they're all going to take next week off, and I'm going to get that dreaded 4th spot. You don't get money. 1, 2, 3 gets money. 4th just gets the worst draft pick with no money. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. How about you, Jabber?
You know, Adam, my venom runs so deep right now for my roster. And I was going to save this for next week, but I'm going to tell you right off the bat, here's who screwed me for the entire season. You ready? Steve Smith, you screwed me. Percy Harvin, you screwed me. Austin Collie, you screwed me. And you know what, Aaron Rodgers? You may screw me out of getting out of last place in my entire league. I don't know. There's a very good chance if Aaron Rodgers doesn't go next week, he screwed me too.
You know what I like is your whole team is decorated with these little red crosses.
Little red crosses
That's
everywhere.
Really pretty.
Everywhere,
It's
Chris
very
Ivory.
Christmassy. Yeah.
Just
How about you, Marty?
terrible.
How about you, Marty?
It's very fast. I don't know how I can go on after that. I just feel for you. My heart goes out to you.
I mean,
Hey, man, we've all been there.
We have been
where's
there.
my street cred? It's in the toilet right now.
You know, Adam, I have 2 teams in the playoffs, and one of my teams I was worried about. Santonio Holmes in the end zone. Here's his hands. There's the ball. It was wide open. Catch the ball, please, Santonio. Last 2 weeks, the Jets have been crap. I don't know what happened to Sanchez. I don't know what happened to Santonio. Done. My team's out. The Jersey Shore Warriors are gone. Thank you for another season, Warriors.
As a
I
Dolphins
appreciate
fan,
it.
can I just say that what happened to the Jets? Karma. Cheating bastards. You see that guy? The coach tried to trip the Dolphin.
Yeah, well, he did.
He
did.
tripped a guy.
He got
saw
suspended
that.
for the
Are you
rest of the year.
kidding
He's
me?
done,
He
that guy.
should be banned from the league.
I'm sorry,
That's
Marty.
insane.
I didn't.
Who sticks a knee out?
And
A
you're
knee.
coach. You're
they don't
coach.
deserve to win.
Yeah,
I didn't
agree.
include him on my list, but read that.
Santonio
is a
Holmes.
starting wide receiver for my team.
All right.
Mike Williams from Tampa, you're killing me. You're all
right.
killing me.
Mike Williams killed me from Tampa also.
Oh,
That's what I
Tony
get for-
Gonzalez is killing me.
That's what I get for starting a rookie
Your
in the
whole
playoffs.
team is killing me.
You are
Right.
screwing me over and over again.
I'm also going to say one thing for JJ. I know JJ got bumped from the playoffs this week, so we'll have to hear from him next week what happened. So it's Marty, it's you and I.
Mears, I agree with you. Tammy screwed me also.
Yeah.
Come on, Tammy.
Tammy had a pretty
A lot of
terrible
guys
game.
led me to the playoffs and then fell apart that first week of the playoffs.
All right, enough
But
of
let's
this
move
bitching,
on.
guys.
I'm still into my other team. My other team is ranked number 2, highest scoring team in the league.
Nice.
They're going to take another title. I
Good
feel
for you,
it.
Marty. All right, good luck. Good luck.
We are going to move on from all this complaining into telling you what we got right for you last week. It's time for We Told You So. Now, if you followed us on Twitter,
Oh boy, this is the fun part.
if you followed us on Twitter, I talked about the fact that Ryan Terrain would be starting and that you should start him. I hope you listened. He had a huge game, 170-something yards, career best. Didn't get a touchdown, but when you're getting up over 150 yards, it doesn't matter. It's still a great game. So I was particularly happy with that one. A lot of people thought maybe Keelan Williams would still be in the mix, or Davis, who's now with Washington, but no, it was almost all Terrain.
You know why you got that right, Adam? Because this man is a genius, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, he calls it every single week. Adam's got it covered, okay? If you want to know who to pick up, this man right here, he knows who to
He's
pick
a
up.
genius.
He's a genius. I mean, why even?
But let's go back to the tape of last week. I think I did mention Terrain
Let's
on the
go
show.
back
You
to
did.
the tape.
I did. I talked to
Marty
Colin
gets his
about
shots too.
Terrain.
Yeah, definitely.
So I like to take partial credit, but I'm not like this man twittering right
Sure.
before the game. I throw him out there. I throw out people.
try. I want people to win that aren't in my league, other than me.
Right.
Which,
Marty's
by the
guess
way,
is-
I'm a little nervous because one of the guys in my league who I'm playing this week in the playoffs, he's a good friend of mine, and he's been very supportive of this show, and I want to appreciate. His name's Marty as well, and I want to thank him, and I want to tell him to turn it off right now because I know he needs a quarterback and a tight end for this week, and we're going to give him some great ideas, and I don't want him to take them.
Oh, I
Because he has
remember Marty
Antonio
from
Gates.
The draft special.
Yeah,
Yes.
nice guy,
Yes.
real nice guy.
yes.
Right.
But I
Very
hope something
thorough,
happens
very
to his
thorough in the
hand for
draft.
just a day so he can't change his lineup, and that would be great for me.
You know, because you're a genius,
Well,
Adam.
he's got Jacobs. That's not good. We'll talk about that.
All right,
all
all right, here we go.
Next guy. I've been talking about this guy for 3 weeks. I have been preaching the Darren McFadden Bible to you guys. I've been saying this guy's got the great setup for the playoff run, and I wasn't thinking about last week. I was thinking about this week and the next week, and look what he did last week. I mean, monster game, two rushing touchdowns, a receiving touchdown, almost had 100 yards receiving, and had 120-something, 140
Yeah, a
something
great
yards
run,
rushing.
showing that versatility.
Yeah.
He's fantastic.
And he's the key to their team. And here's his matchups coming up. This week, he gets Indy. No, this week he gets Denver. And week 16, he gets Indy. Neither one of these guys can stop a running game. And the great thing about the Raiders is they can't throw the ball very well. So they're just going to pound it. This guy's going to get 25 carries. He's gonna carry a lot of teams to a championship.
Absolutely. I agree.
Fantastic
I
call.
agree.
Leading fantasy points leader of the weekend.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And
Yeah.
that's it. And he
Just
had-
beat out a kicker.
Yes.
And you know what? If you're on a team that if you're on a non-playoff team and you've got Darren McFadden, all I can say is I'm really sorry.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing in my league is I get to keep him for a 10th round pick next year. That's beautiful.
Now you're talking.
All right,
Well
third
played,
guy,
sir. Well
we all called.
played.
Everybody gets credit for this one because we smashed him on the show. It was Thursday night before Pierre Garçon had his 2 touchdown performance.
Yep, we all
his
smashed him
best
here.
game of his career fantasy-wise. We told you to start him. He was a great start. Again, on a key weekend where you guys were either trying to get in the playoffs or you were in the playoffs. That was a good call. Number 4, before this horrifically or ugly weather game in New England, you know, part of me was thinking, I don't want to touch this game at all, either side, just because the weather was so bad. But at the end, I tweeted about 2 guys. I'm not going to take credit for one of them because you can't take credit for Brady. He's good every week. I said start Welker and start Brady. Welker had a very good game, especially PPR leagues. He had 122 yards. I think he had 10 receptions. Just great, another great game. He's been very solid. I think he'll continue to be solid. I think they figured out how to run the passing game through him and then go deep to Branch, and that's what's happening now. They stumbled a little bit after losing Moss. I think they lost their identity a little bit, but they got right back on track.
I backed off this a little bit last week, but I've always thought snow really doesn't necessarily.
It depends on the
mean,
snow.
Right.
If it's just coming
you know?
down, it's not a big deal. But if it's that blowing in your face thing, and it's making the ball move and weird. That gets really hard.
Sure. But it was just cold. And, look, Brady's
brutal.
done that hundreds of times. So.
Well, and I don't know if I've actually thrown the ball around in the snow. Have you ever done that?
Sure, of course. I
It
used to play
hurts
football.
like hell.
I used to play
to
football
crack-
all the time in
it's
the
like
snow
a
in the dead
boulder
of
hitting your
winter.
hands, and I think
Sure.
that's one of the things that affects it as well. Last guy I'm
the
going to give
best,
to
though.
Marty, because this was Marty's call. Marty, I added him to the script late, but he's at the top of your list.
Tim Hightower,
Yeah, that was a good one.
Arizona Cardinals.
I did not see that coming.
I saw it because I actually had a chance to meet Tim Hightower Tuesday night, and I had a feeling. And I wanted one of my guys to blow up. He went 18 for 148 and 2 touchdowns. Again, I saw the rookie quarterback, Skelton, and I thought they have a big running game. I thought they rely on Tim Hightower. I like him moving forward. His schedule, Carolina, Dallas, San Francisco. So Tim Hightower, not a bad start. And Beanie Wells is injured again.
Yeah.
And let's face it, Beanie Wells is
not the
Beanie
guy.
Wells.
And now, who did he play to get those stats? Didn't he play?
He played the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, and you know who plays the Denver Broncos this week? Darren McFadden.
The Oakland Raiders.
I'm like salivating at the possible 3
You know
touchdown
why he had
again
that big
performance.
game, Marty, is because you touch the lives of everyone you meet.
You really do.
I do.
Yeah.
I blessed him.
Yeah. Except
Jabber,
apparently
except for you.
Jabber's fantasy
Except for
team.
you.
Right,
Except for you.
Apparently
And
you don't
That, by
touch
the way,
me.
that's all I got for We Told You So.
All right.
I
What else you
got 2 more.
All right, go for
I
it.
was on fire last week.
We have a Pierre Garcon picture here.
Where is
Oh,
it, Pierre
oh, let's
Garcon?
see him.
Oh, let's see.
I thought we showed it.
Is
Didn't
he
we?
frolicking with Kim Kardashian? Because if not,
There we go.
There it is.
And Malcolm Floyd. I think
I
that's
was just
the
going
more
to
I
get
told
to
you
that.
Nice.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Let's do that.
I smashed Malcolm Floyd in a parade of wide receivers we had choices for. And I like Floyd. He went 4 for 51, 2 touchdowns. He's clearly the leader on that Chargers team.
oh, I was in on that too. I said Floyd. Didn't I?
I didn't. I get no credit for this one.
Were
I
you
think
in on
Floyd
that?
was one of, when
I
we
like
had a
this.
choice of 3 out of 5. I think I took Floyd on that.
It
one.
was no, you didn't take him on
No,
that.
maybe not.
No,
All right,
you
now-
didn't like Floyd.
All
I
right,
think you
all
did.
right.
But I like your call on Deion Branch right before Thanksgiving. He's been on
Oh,
fire
right,
since
he has
then.
been on fire. He has been on fire. Wow, Brady, best quarterback in the game.
And one more I like to throw in.
Throw something at me. Let's go. Throw it at me. Throw it at me.
We had a nice conversation about
Whoever you
Dominique
are.
Rhodes.
Yeah.
And I threw in Javaris James.
Yeah.
And he looks like 17 for 49 and a touchdown. They're trying to get that running game going.
They're trying. I
They're
just
trying.
don't think they know how to. That might be the best pass blocking team ever and the worst run blocking team. And their backs aren't that great. I still think. I mean, if you look at those numbers for the average, that tells me Rhodes is going to get a shot. But James has proven that if you're on the 1 yard line, he can get it in.
If they're
like
in
that's
the
what
5,
he does.
James
Yeah.
is going to get a touchdown.
Yeah, he's going to get a
Yeah,
touchdown.
yeah.
He gets a touchdown. So, yeah, he's not your 1 or 2 running back. Maybe a flex. It depends who's taken, who's not taken.
Yeah.
Javaris James. Who's Indy have this week? Jacksonville. Big matchup.
Yeah, yeah, and that's Jacksonville's very porous defense. So that's the kind of team. But I have a feeling that's going to be a big
Shootout, like
Yeah.
that Raiders game.
Yeah.
Wasn't that
Yeah.
Raiders? Oh, that Raiders
tell you right
Jets
now-
game was the game of the weekend.
And Jacksonville keeps teams scoring because they can score
Yeah.
a lot of different ways, and they'll grind it out on you. So they keep offenses off the field. They move the ball a little bit slower down the field. Other teams have to come back with a lot of firepower
Yeah.
just to compete with them.
And Indy's pass defense, not very good. Jacksonville's pass defense, not very good.
Not very
it's
good.
going to be a lot of back and
Right,
forth.
right.
All right, guys. So that's going to do it for We Told You So, which is my favorite segment because it's like, hey, look how right I was. Who doesn't want to do that? All right.
That's because you're a genius.
as are you, gentlemen. As are you.
Genius.
We need
You're no
Claire.
Sean Green.
Without
You're a
Claire, there's nobody to
genius.
bring us back down. Our egos are just floating away.
Adam Sean Greenius.
Look, Fantasy Warrior, Hightower. I did mention Hightower.
All
Thank
right,
you,
so,
Fantasy Warrior, for listening last
Nice.
Let's move into what's going on around the league and how it affects your fantasy season. It's time for the fantasy news. I'm gonna. Are you ready to go with this, Jabber? Jabber, it's all you.
Let's do it.
week.
Oh,
I love
my.
Jabber doing the news. Bring it to us, Jabber.
Ladies and germs, it's time for fantasy news. Big story of the week here. Number one, thank God it's over, ladies and gentlemen. Brett Favre.
Na 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 na. Hey,
Na, 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 na. Hey, goodbye.
I don't mean that
want
in
to
a
hear
mean.
No, not at all. No,
Brett Favre,
no,
one of the
no,
all-time
no.
greats. You gotta love the
No,
guy,
no,
but
no.
really 2 years ago
No.
was the time, and maybe
No.
you
Yeah,
got an extra
yeah,
year, but
yeah,
this year
yeah,
you were just
yeah.
straight up annoying.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, I wasn't very
Yeah.
I wasn't very impressed with the picture he sent me either.
Yeah.
So-
No. No. Okay, already too much
So that's
time.
it. That's it.
Wait.
What?
It does have fantasy implications.
Well, he'll be in the Hall of Fame
tough,
next year.
A
or
tough
Fantasy
day
Hall of
for
Fame.
AP tonight. A tough day for AP. Not
Very
a great
tough day.
game for Sidney Rice. Tavares was Tavares
Yeah.
tonight. I mean, he came back down to earth against a good defense, the
Yeah,
Giants.
that's
so.
the Giants are a good
Yeah.
defense, but you'll see exactly why Tavares Jackson's not the answer this week, because I'm not saying Michael Vick's going to have a great game against the Giants, but he'll do fine.
He'll do
because
fine.
he's a great player. Right now, he's a great player. Tavares Jackson is not, and frankly, I think part of that is the Vikings' fault, because they've never really given the guy his shot.
What's their record now?
The Vikings?
They're
I
going to
don't
have
know.
a pretty high draft pick, the
They're-
Vikings.
But they're not going to get Locker. They won't be able to get him.
No, not Locker. Not Luck, obviously.
Not
Locker.
Locker, not Locker. They'll
Interesting, right? Interesting,
Because
Jake
those guys
Locker.
are going to go in the top 5.
You think
Those
Jake
guys-
Locker goes top 5?
Oh, dude, I'd take him first.
I love
was
him. I
at
mean,
the
I love
game.
him. Hey,
I took a UW guy
Oh, yeah,
to
baby.
the game, and his team beat mine.
I mean,
anyway,
he
all
was
right.
incredible. Okay. Number
What a
2.
heartwarming tale. I feel I missed out.
This year's biggest bummer. Dwayne Bowe.
Where'd he go?
Dwayne Bowe. What?
Where'd he go? Where's Bo? Hello?
Where is Dwayne Bowe?
Where the hell
Dwayne
are
Bowe
you?
is wearing a Waldo hat and glasses right now.
One catch for like 8 yards in 2 weeks.
Oh my, Dwayne Bowe.
After being like this
8 straight
unstoppable
games,
force.
4 multi touchdown games. I mean,
He
Dwayne
ran
Bowe.
into Champ Bailey last week, and this week he ran into Brody Croyle.
oh my
I mean,
God.
honestly,
Oh,
I feel
he
bad
ran
for
the
all
other
your
direction
Chiefs.
from Brody Croyle.
All your Chiefs are hurting. A
Oh, man.
shutout.
Yeah.
Too many
definitely.
Chiefs
Shutout.
in the kitchen.
You know,
Yeah.
that was bad for Jamal Charles. That was bad for Dwayne Bowe.
Oh,
that was just
man.
bad. You know, please, Matt Castle, come back. Come back.
Who else was a huge bummer this year? I mean, are we really talking right now? I mean, no.
We can talk
end of the
I mean,
season we'll do
we
that.
can
Right?
talk
Yeah, we're gonna have a recap
Right.
show.
I
Week
mean-
17 is gonna be a
Oh, my.
show for you guys who still a lot of fantasy
Sean
leagues don't go on that
Green.
far. And but you know, for week 17 we're also gonna do a recap. That'll be a fun show. But anyway,
Okay, the
next
New
one.
York Jets, ladies and gentlemen, next story. New York Jets.
Cheaters.
Grounded again.
Cheaters.
What is up with these guys? What is going on with the New York Jets? Is it time to give up on these guys? Who do you give up on? Who do you stay with? Adam.
I'm staying with LT. I'm staying with Holmes. I know that was a horrific drop.
Okay.
And I don't think Sanchez is a horrible backup. I think, literally, I think what happened in that is New England punched them so hard in the face in the beginning of that game. They still haven't fully recovered from it. It's shaken at who they are.
Sure.
On top of that, I love Rex Ryan, but he's making terrible calls, and it's hurting his team. He did it again this week. He forced an early 4th and 2. There was no reason to do it. And,
Right.
you know, I mean, look, you've got a great defense, and you're playing the Dolphins. All you had to do was score 11 points to win that game.
Who do
they can
you give up on right now, Marty?
I give up on everyone. They're playing the Steelers this weekend.
Oh,
I
good
don't
point.
start any Jet. Stay away. I
Yeah.
don't trust any Jet right now.
Yeah.
Santonio blew my first playoff shot.
Yeah.
I got only one more shot. No Jets this weekend. No Jets.
But hang
Okay.
on to him for week 16.
Hang on
maybe
to a
week
couple of them.
16.
Do not start them at any cost, and maybe give up on a handful of them for the season. Thanks, guys. Next up, okay.
Oh, nice little button there.
When do you
I like
think?
the button.
Thank you.
I like it.
How often does this happen?
Did I give you a compliment?
That's rare too.
Marty Lublin.
felt I-
He'll
I
be here
like
all week. Caesar's Palace. How often do you pick up a guy on a mediocre team mid-season to kick for you on a bye week? Then you kind of just forget that he's there. You forget that you got rid of a better kicker to begin with. But he's serviceable. His team has a couple of good defensive games. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, his team gets in position enough that he can kick 5 field goals for you, kick 2 extra points, and run a touchdown. That's what Jay Feely did, folks. Number 4 for the Arizona Cardinals. Put up 28.5 points in my league. I mean,
31 and a half in my
31.5 in Adam's league.
28 in my league.
Okay.
Third highest scorer.
Third highest scoring total in the week. Folks, I got to
He
tell
beat
you
Deshaun
something.
Jackson. He beat Andre Johnson.
I feel bad for people who have McFadden and aren't in the playoffs. I feel worse for people who went up against Jay Feely in the
Lost
playoffs
to a
and
kicker.
lost this week.
That's a brutal way to lose too, because kickers are a random roll of the dice. It's
Right.
you know you try to get one on a good team, maybe a team that can't punch it in but kicks a lot of field goals. But it's kickers. It's all up to their team whether or not they're even getting a shot.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's just dumb luck. And if you lost to a guy because of Jay Feely, man, I don't know what you did in a past life, but it must have
Yeah,
been real
it's
bad.
a bitch, man.
I
It's
got a
bitch.
Feely.
Yeah.
That's tonight's interview.
Now, keep in mind, this didn't happen to everybody because Jay Feely's not owned in an overwhelming majority of leagues. I think he's only in about maybe 57%. 57%. So for a lot of you, this had no chance of happening in the first place. I will say this. For those of you who want to pick up Jay Feely this week, I'm always leery of kickers having exceptional games like this, coming back and doing even close to what they did the previous week.
And that game's a lot more about, sorry, Rune, the dismal condition of the Broncos. I mean,
Sure,
that's why
sure.
I mean, you
Sure.
can't stop a kicker from running the ball in on the 5. He's a kicker.
Right.
They could not punch it in. And finally,
Yeah.
their first touchdown comes with the kicker. But I like Feely. This weekend, he plays another one of our favorite teams, the Carolina Panthers.
Sure.
And they are still starting Skelton, who is still,
Yeah.
you know, Wizenhut doesn't trust him with the full offensive playbook.
I'll tell
so
you,
I
though,
say they get close.
But you
with a lot
got to
of
be
field
careful,
goals.
too, because
Carolina's
Caroline
desperate
can be
right
so
now.
bad that they let them score a lot
And
of
look at what the
touchdowns.
Redskins did this week
Yeah.
when you guys both said that take anybody against the Skins.
I know.
Take every Tampa player. The Skins are terrible. The Washington Redskins came out this week. They disappointed a lot of fantasy owners. Carolina is poised to do that next week. They are desperate for
better.
a win, fellas. They're
could.
desperate.
I still like
They are so
Hightower.
bad.
And they've
but
got
they're
a great
desperate.
I like
running back duo.
Hightower
They
again
got a great
next
running
week,
back
and
duo.
I like Feely. I'll
Right.
throw it out there. I'm throwing it out there.
Mark, I'd like to talk a little bit about these matchups again. I've been hyping on
Yes.
these for 3 weeks. Third week in a
Matchups?
row. I'm going to tell you about the matchups. Okay.
The matchups.
I love
got
matchups.
You got.
Rune, get it up there.
Put it up there.
This
got,
isn't even a name.
You got. Oh wait.
He did a
He's
mashup.
been using this word since he's 5. Daddy, it's a great matchup. Isn't the boy cute?
We're gonna talk
He
about
knows
it
he said
later.
matchup.
Oh, he said
Pronunciation
matchup.
Scoreboard
He
is
said
on the old
matchup.
We shall
TriCaster,
match.
by the way.
Oh, bummer. That's
Yeah,
all right.
the
We'll get on this one.
mispronunciation scorecards
I don't have
Raiders,
one yet
Dolphins
tonight.
rule.
aren't in
One
HD.
thing that I would like to talk about is Houston is playing at Tennessee. We're going to get into it on waiver wire, but Houston is terrible against the pass. The only guy they could stop all year was Rusty Smith. The last time they played Tennessee, by the way, but Tennessee's now got Kerry Collins. So big
Yeah,
difference.
I mean, it's
Really like
interesting.
that. I kind of got ahead of myself there. I wanted to talk about defenses, so let me get back to defenses really quick.
Well, then
I
let's
don't know why
do
I said
just that.
All right.
Miami gets Buffalo in Miami. Big difference because it's in Miami. If it was in Buffalo, I wouldn't be saying this. Miami D should have a very good game. Buffalo is the kind of team that a Miami D can do well against. I like Miami's D this week. Tampa Bay gets Detroit, and Detroit is hurting. Detroit's having issues. I still like Detroit to score points with their passing game, but because they're coming from behind. And there was one other team that I wanted to talk about. I don't think Dallas's defense is a bad play against Washington. Even though Washington played well this week, I don't know if they play so well in Dallas. I don't know if that happens. Oh, St. Louis gets Kansas City, who's also reeling. Kansas City and Denver are two teams in just a terrible tailspin. And it usually takes a couple weeks to turn that around. So they're out of time, is what I'm saying.
And if
all I got.
Matt Flynn starts for the Packers, I like that New England defense. We were worried about their corners and their deep balls, but now they seem to turn the corner against the Jets.
They did.
And now the Bears.
They did.
And,
And-
they're waiting to pounce on the Packers Sunday nighter if they get Matt Flynn.
That was I told you so. That
What?
the Patriots defense might have just turned it around for the rest of the season
Yeah,
against
you were
the
picking
Jets.
on
So you got it.
Against the
You
Jets.
got it. And I told you so.
And I called it, and
You're
they
right.
shut down the Bears
You're right.
last week. I did
You're
say
right.
that last week.
You're right.
Adam, I like to throw out one more team that Tampa Bay's defense has a lot of injuries.
Do
A
they?
lot of injuries, and you saw the Redskins just slice through them.
So maybe Detroit actually
They could.
upsets again.
They lost Gerald McCoy for the rest of the season. They lost like three. They lost Aqib Talib. They have rookies starting. They just were decimated. They lost.
Is it rookies in the secondary?
Safety
Because then
Cody
I'm loving
Grimm.
Calvin Johnson. I got Calvin Johnson on my team. I love Calvin
Watch
Johnson.
Detroit might have a nice game against this Tampa D. Their defense has lost 4 players, as I can read about now.
All right.
And follow up that on the worldwide interweb.
We just spoke briefly about Aaron Rodgers. I'm sorry, Mark.
No.
All right, we just spoke briefly about Aaron Rodgers, which in my opinion is a great time to go to our next report because that's the biggest part of this next one. It's time for the doctor is in.
In?
In?
Getting the in card this week.
The out card, you mean?
The out card is still on the old TriCaster.
We still, we got a brand new high definition TriCaster. That's why we all look so amazing. Really, in real life, we're not this attractive.
That's why I can't see the ingrown hair on the side of Marty's
exactly.
face. You can't see it now.
Thanks for pointing that out, Jabber.
some of our older
He'll be here
cards
all
are
week,
on there.
folks.
We're
Look at
getting
waiters
moved
and
over.
waitresses.
So I'm going to be the doctor this week because
Break it
Zach
down,
is
Doc.
working, saving lives right now, and Claire is in New York.
Oh, shout out to Claire.
Hi,
We
Claire.
like doing shout
Claire,
outs.
shout out.
Is
to
JJ
Claire.
in the chat room, by the way?
Seek
Is he
off.
in there? All right, number
Shout
one.
out to JJ.
Biggest injury of the week, of course, is Aaron Rodgers, that concussion. I tend to think that they're so close and they're so in the playoff hunt.
I hate
He's
you,
going to
Aaron
play
Rodgers.
if he can, but that's the problem. You got to remember the concussion laws and the NFL, and the rule is independent doctor has to clear him. So it's really not his call or the Packers' call. An independent doctor has to say, yeah, he's fine. And there's a lot of things he's got to go through for that. So you got to watch that all week. I'll post it along as the week goes on Twitter. Make sure you follow
Very
us.
strict laws,
Yeah.
especially if you cross state lines.
Yeah, definitely.
You can't take an out-of-state
That's
diagnosis back
interstate
over the state
commerce,
border.
man. You get taxed
You cannot
on that.
do that.
You can't do it. Number two,
Ridiculous.
another big one. I don't know if you guys know this, but just yesterday, Antonio Gates admitted in an interview that his season might be over. Might. Don't drop him.
Because of performance enhancing.
Yeah, but that's painful. I wouldn't drop him, but I have a feeling we've seen the last of Antonio Gates, and the guy's been just amazing this year. He's been
Amazing.
50 points ahead of any other tight end. He's
He's
been
a
incredible.
beast. He's incredible.
But he's probably going to be done. So if you haven't picked up McMichael, which you should have if you own Gates, pick him up right away. He didn't have a great game this week, but McMichael's still a solid play while Gates is out. We've got some other ideas for you at tight end later. Number three, Chris Ivory. He's going to be okay, but he dinged up his hamstring and he did not return. And it looks like Thomas and Bush are both fine. My feeling on this is New Orleans is in a hunt. They even have a chance at getting a bye. I think that New Orleans doesn't use him as much because they've got two other healthy backs. So I think even though he'll play this week, I wouldn't start him.
I wouldn't either. They have the Ravens,
Yeah.
and he had similar problems back at Washington State. I think they rest him.
Yeah, they're going to rest
Or
him
they
for the
do a
playoffs.
split. I see a split for those two.
Yeah. And number four is a guy who's out for the year. Frankly, if he's in your lineup, you're probably not in the playoffs. Lee Evans, who had one great game, and that's it. He broke his ankle. His season's over. So just so you know there. Deion Butler in Seattle broke his leg. His season is over.
Seattle can't
That's
find a
just like,
receiver.
I mean, it's amazing
It's
what's
like a
happening to them.
curse.
They're like Indy is like that with running backs. Seattle's like that with wide receivers. Obamanu and Williams will both be back next week. Did I say that right?
Obama-Manu.
Obama-Mamanu, whatever. Those guys should both be back this week. So that'll, I don't think Butler was going to do much for you anyway, but Obamanu and Williams will have more targets.
Check the tweets on Sunday.
Yeah,
Check the
definitely.
tweets.
Remember,
Check the tweets.
guys, this is all,
This is early.
speculation. We know these injuries are around. We don't know how bad they are because the real injury reports from the NFL, the official things don't start coming out till Tuesday, and the good ones don't come out till Wednesday and Thursday. So, number 6, Tavares Jackson, just gets worse for Minnesota, man. Poor JJ. I think the Vikings might play it safe. If he's a cusp kind of a guy, why do you risk your only real quarterback you've got anymore when it doesn't matter?
Because they're stupid, Adam,
That's true.
and they might
Good
just
point.
do it.
That's a very good point.
They're the Vikings, JJ. They're the Vikings.
Yeah, I heard they're talking to Josh McDaniels to come in and take over the team.
I heard they're talking to JJ Mays about coming in and taking over the team.
Actually, I would love that.
that would be amazing.
we would get
Can you
box
imagine?
seats.
Just hold on, picture it. JJ on the sideline, screaming at a ref, pulling out the red flag.
But he's got to do it with the mutton chops.
He's got the mutton chop. He's got a windbreaker.
Yeah, it's
He's
brilliant.
got a pullover
It's
windbreaker.
brilliant. It's
That's
brilliant. I
his
love it.
signature
I love it.
thing. No sweatshirt.
Number 7, this could be a big one. Mario
Uh-huh.
Manningham left the game in the second and did not return. He had a hip flexor strain. The timing here is nice for the Giants because both Nix and Smith should be back to full strength next week.
Nick
Should
looked good
be.
tonight.
Yeah, Nix
played
looked good today, and
Yeah.
Smith was out there.
Smith
but
was out there for one catch.
Manningham, I don't know if he plays, and if he does, again, why is he going to get a lot of looks when they've got two healthier wide receivers? He might be right back to his third wide receiver role.
And don't sleep on Kevin Boss. We've been pimping him the
Yeah,
last
he got a
couple
touchdown
weeks.
tonight,
had a
didn't he?
touchdown
Guys,
tonight.
Steve Smith,
great.
I'll tell you right now, Steve Smith from the Giants pulled a hamstring. He may not even play next week. Tonight, he
Steve
pulled
Smith?
a hamstring.
He did?
Okay,
Oh.
yes. He left the game. So, I mean, they only have
Yeah.
3 games left in the season. I mean, Hakeem
Yep.
Nicks is going to be the guy, and this impacts Kevin Boss, no doubt,
Yeah.
because now they're missing 2 more receivers, unless Derek Hagan comes in like he did those couple of games and asserts himself. He might be a viable number 2, but too early to tell.
But here's another big piece
tell.
of Giants injury news. Ahmad Bradshaw. They were wrapping his forearm at the end of the game. This could be real big for a lot of reasons. If you're a Jacobs owner, like the guy I'm playing this week, you want Bradshaw hurt because that means Jacobs gets all the carries. I think it will affect the passing game too because when they've got Bradshaw and Jacobs, they don't feel like they have to pass except against the good teams. They had 2 guys go over 100. Why throw it as little as you want, you know? So I think if Bradshaw's out, Boss becomes awesome. Hagan becomes a factor. Obviously, Nix is huge. Jacobs is a must-start.
Jacobs a monster.
You know,
but they found this running game. Eli's numbers are down.
I was going to say it's much more likely, Marty. You're right, that Brandon Jacobs will have a big game than the receivers because Eli's play has been so unpredictable lately. So I think
that
it's
has a lot
beneficial.
To do with the wide receiver injuries, you know. Yeah.
They play the Eagles this weekend. I'm sure they want to keep Vic off the field. I'm sure they're going to just try and pound the Eagles.
Yeah. That's what they'll try and do.
All right.
That's all I've got for injuries. Now, I'm sure there are injuries out there that we missed. We literally put this script together the second after the game stopped tonight. So
Matt Schaub, for example, is very emotionally injured.
Yeah,
but he'll be okay. And I think Houston has found their offense.
He put up great numbers.
Yeah, I mean he's still
he's a beast. Andre
fantasy-wise,
Johnson
he was fine.
Was a beast.
Yeah, Houston proved tonight they can buckle down in the big spot and score points.
But
they did it against one of the. No, they can't win. But they did it against one of the. But it doesn't matter for fantasy owners. What matters is that Foster's putting up huge numbers. You
Foster, Johnson, Schaub.
The worst thing about Arian Foster.
Welcome back, Owen Daniels.
Owen Daniels, which we'll talk about later. That's a big one.
The worst thing about Arian Foster is that he can't call his fan base Aryan Nation.
Oh, you've been waiting to say that for 14 weeks.
No. Seriously, he can't do it.
First of all, I was the first person to tell a bad Arian Foster joke on this show.
Okay,
and it got generally the same reaction.
They're already calling for smash.
Rune just trashed us.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was outstanding.
All right, so that's the injuries. Again, follow us, stupid, the number 4 football, because there's going to be updates on these. Other than Lee Evans, Deion Butler, those guys we know are done. Those are broken bones. Ahmad Bradshaw could just have like a laceration or it could be a busted forearm. I have no idea at this point, but they were wrapping it and it did not look good. All right, we're going to move into what to do about this. We've told you who's injured. What are you going to do about it? It's time for On the Wire.
It's electric, this segment.
Join us. Sorry, that's all. When I see the electric,
Luke,
I think
I am your father.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Do we want to talk? Let's talk quarterbacks for all you Rodgers owners.
Yeah, well, here's my pick for quarterback this week.
All right, let's hear it, Adam.
Available in 84% of leagues. His name is Kerry Collins, and he will be QBing for the Tennessee Titans, who are playing the Houston Texans, who, if I was playing, I would throw 5 touchdowns against because they are terrible. And Collins is a good quarterback. Yeah, he's at the end of his career. He had 3 touchdowns this week.
They have guys who they can throw, can throw to, especially Bo Scaife, who has reemerged as a top option.
Right after Kerry Collins, I have Bo Scaife available in 70% of leagues. He's also playing Houston this week. So if you were an
I called that
Gates,
2 weeks ago, by the way. Pick up Bo Scaife.
Antonio Gates owner. Bo Scaife's a great guy. Definitely pick up Kerry Collins if you got Aaron Rodgers. If you're having trouble at quarterback position, Kerry Collins is my favorite quarterback that is probably available for you this week. He's a really good pickup. That's a good guy to get. Marty, you got any more QBs?
I have some. How about John Kitna? I think he's available in 69% of leagues. He has Washington. He has Arizona. And then he finishes against Philly. But Washington, Arizona's nice.
All right.
Washington, Arizona, John Kitna.
As I mentioned before the broadcast tonight, Arizona might be on that little tear like they had earlier in the year where they picked off. This is the 3rd game where they've had like 2 picks, a couple for touchdowns. I'm just saying, Arizona's defense is opportunistic.
They'll throw a couple picks.
Sure, but they
How
don't
about
have
this? Let me throw another one at you.
Please.
Oh, wait. Before we say that, also keep in mind there are reports that Tony Romo may play in Week 16, which I think is moronic.
That's ridiculous.
But they're saying he wants to play, and they might play him. So that might hurt it.
All right, that's a good point.
What else you got,
How about Jason Campbell? He's only owned in 89. He's available in 89%. He plays Denver. He plays Indy, and he plays KC. This weekend, he went 21 for 30, 324 yards, 2 touchdowns.
That was great.
But that was against the Jags.
Yeah.
So.
But he's going up against a couple other weak defenses.
Denver.
He's not.
It looks like Denver quit.
Yeah, he's not a bad pick up at all, I would just say keep in mind there's a very good chance Oakland gets up early and they just go McFadden Bush, and just run out because they've got the ability to do that. And Denver's so bad that it could get ugly quick.
How about one more?
Go for it. More QB.
David Garrard.
Thank you, Marty. That was my guy. You stole him, but I'm happy you did.
He's the only.
He's been good.
And he
been
plays
real good.
Indy, Washington, and Houston.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
He had 3 touchdowns this weekend.
And guess what? I have Rodgers and I have Garrard on my bench, and
Oh, you're
I'm
set.
hoping that he rolls.
Kablam. We'll
So
talk
I'm
about
thinking-
Garrard.
Yeah, he's had a couple of great
And they are
games.
fighting for the division.
Yeah,
and
they
they got
are.
that running game going.
Yeah, they
and
do.
hey, there was a Mike Sims Walker sighting this weekend.
Yeah,
Oh my
I'm
God,
pulling
that
very
guy's still
hard
in the
for
league?
Jacksonville.
Mercedes Lewis.
That's
you know?
one thing I want to say about this whole Aaron Rodgers situation. You're now learning why, yeah, I know there are people who in the past have drafted like a Peyton Manning and not a backup quarterback. This is exactly why you don't do that ever, because you're going to be stuck with whatever's on the free agency market. Now, there's a couple of good picks this week, but that's rare. We're lucky that Kerry Collins gets Tennessee and that nobody has him on their team. We're lucky that these guys are getting good matchups. If they weren't getting good matchups, none of them are startable. So, all right, let's move on to another position. Antonio Gates, we already told you about Bo Scaife. Another one, Owen Daniels, tight end. Now, he's only available in 35% of leagues, but in my league, he's available, and I will be trying to pick him up. And I should be able to get him first because I'm ahead of Marty on the waiver wire.
Not
Marty.
me.
No, not you. The other guy, Marty, who needs
The
a
other
tight
Marty.
end.
Like the 2 Jakes around you.
He's
Yes.
back. A lot of guys
My brother
dropped him.
Daryl, my other brother Daryl.
He's not only back, it looks like he and Schaub didn't miss a beat, and he looks healthy. He was back earlier in the season, but he wasn't healthy. Owen Daniels looked very good tonight. I don't know his final stats because I was already in here, but he had like 4 or 5 receptions already and 70 yards when I last looked.
I'll be stat boy. I'll take a look.
All right. You got it?
No, yeah, go ahead with your next sentence.
I got it right here. 5 for 91 yards.
Hey,
That's a
hey-o.
decent night for a guy who has been nowhere for weeks. Or for most of the year, really.
7th best tight end performance of the weekend.
Yep. Marty, you guys got any tight ends I'm not thinking of? I mean, there's some real deep sleepers out there, but
Tight ends, I'll tell you, in my league, the pickings are slim, gentlemen.
Yeah.
I mean, Owen Daniels is available, way down on the list there.
He's a
May
great
have
pickup.
reemerged, but no, otherwise it's, I mean, well, Scaife is available. Shockey is the highest scoring
yeah, but
available
he's
tight
got
end in my
that
league.
Graham kid who's kind of taken a lot away from him recently.
Sure,
Jimmy
sure,
Graham.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, he did have 4 catches for 29, 2 for 28 before that. I mean, Shockey hasn't had a good game really since week 2.
Yeah, I'd take Daniels or Scaife over Shockey.
Oh, 100%.
Because they're the guys on their
100%,
team.
100%.
They're the primary pass-catching tight end.
I would not pick up, just for the record, would not pick up Jeremy Shockey, okay? No.
All right, let's move on to running backs. I've only got one running back that I like, and it's because even though he had a great game this week, he's been getting more and more looks, and that's Rashad Jennings. He backs up MJD. If you've got MJD, you got to take him. I mean, you should already have him. I don't know why you don't. He's available in 87% of leagues, and I think they're going to keep giving like a 60-40 split. And on that team, that could mean 70 yards and a touchdown. You know, that's good.
It
for
could. It's the
fantasy playoffs.
D'Angelo Williams, Jonathan Stewart of 2 years ago, you know?
Yeah,
Both guys worth
and it's
starting.
making Maurice Jones-Drew better.
Oh, yeah.
Now that when he had all the load on him, wasn't working so well. Now that he's got this guy to release him a little bit, it's much better.
It's almost like he plays that 6-man role,
Yeah.
Maurice Jones-Drew.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
definitely,
Pressure's
definitely.
off, and he just, you know,
just
like
plays.
Amani Ginobili.
Yeah.
But an all-star.
Yeah. You
All right.
got any running backs?
Well, I talked about him earlier. I like Tim Hightower again this week. I like Javaris James again this week, and yeah, that's my 2 go-to guys that we talked about.
Yeah. By the way, a guy I mentioned last week, because of the Rodgers thing, James Stark in Green Bay. Now he looked terrible, but that's because that whole team lost itself and Rodgers went out. If Rodgers is playing, I don't think he's a bad pick because I think if they're going to play New England, you can't just throw against New England. You've got to have both sides of the ball. So I think they'll get him a little bit more running.
And I think still on the waivers, Anthony Dixon, who we talked about, still there.
He did
and
look
also,
good. He had some nice runs there.
Ryan Terrain is still on the waivers in a lot of leagues.
Oh man, I want to be in one of those leagues.
Yes.
All right, so now wide receiver, and this is a guy I was excited about at the beginning of the year who didn't pan out almost the entire year. Marty, I know you were on this guy too. That's Aurelius Ben in Tampa Bay. Nobody thought Mike Williams was going to be the young stud on that team. They thought it was going to be this guy, Aurelius Ben. Now he's a rookie. Wide receiver, probably the hardest position other than quarterback in the NFL to learn as a rookie. It takes time for most guys. Very few Anquan Boldens who come in and from game one just get it. But this guy had a great game. Four receptions, over 100 yards, touchdown. I think it was 122 yards. Great game.
He was the Mike Williams of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
They switched bodies. It was like Freaky Friday.
And I think that Freeman now knows, hey, I've got another guy I can throw to. I think this is good news for Williams owners because now teams can't double cover Williams every play. They got to respect Ben. If you're in a keeper league, I love this kid. Pick him up now, stash him. He's available in 92% of leagues. I would say he's startable next week because who are they playing? Detroit. I would start Ben next week if you're thin at wide receiver.
And I don't think he might be available. If Freeman's still out there could be another quarterback for you.
Yeah, Freeman,
the kid's solid. He puts some numbers.
He's so
We've been talking about him all year.
20 points.
He's confident. He's solid. He leads that team to victory somehow against teams with losing records. But go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Another possible sleeper I have is Jacoby Jones. I mean, he had 5 for 52 in the touchdown tonight. He also dropped one in the end zone tonight. He had 9 targets tonight.
He could have had
out of 62 attempts, admittedly, but
they got down. Yeah, Schaub went in a throwing mode.
Sure, but I think that's what you're gonna see.
Yeah.
I mean, Schaub's got to throw it a lot to be successful, and
Yeah, that team just throws
until his arm gives out and he throws a terrible pick six.
Yeah. Matt Schaub, the new
Debbie
Brett
Downer.
Favre. Matt Schaub, the new Brett Favre. There you go.
Matt
One
Schaub.
other thing, I'm going to mention this again.
Matt
I know I've
Schaub.
told you about it already. I love the Oakland Raiders. I don't know what their percentage is available in your league. But
I don't know if there's a love meter in your league, but if there is, Adam
I got
will be
big love
he's
for the
gonna
Raiders
wrap
D.
around the Raiders.
Big love for the Raiders D.
What do you think about
love for
Lewis Murphy? Had a nice game.
He had a good game, but
worth a pickup?
I don't think so because I don't see Campbell having another game like that. I don't think he's a bad pickup, but that team the Raiders are about the run and then the pass, and the reason they got so much passing done is because they were in a shootout of a game. And
They could be in a shootout against Denver.
They could be.
If Orton reverts back to his early season
They could
form.
be, but I don't think so. I think this one's going to be a blowout. Maybe week 16, but I don't think. I think Murphy's the kind of guy that we just saw. Half his stats for the year right there.
I'm gonna throw another guy into that
ahead.
category. I would not really have much faith in Anthony Armstrong. I know he's a sort of, he's kind of what do you call it? He's alluring, okay? I mean, he's a sexy pickup. We said a few weeks ago, people are kind of waiting for this guy to blow up. It's really not happening. He had one game, 6 catches for 97 yards, but other than that, really doesn't catch more than 3 or 4 balls, and just isn't getting in the end zone. He's done it twice this year, so. If you're looking at Anthony Armstrong on your bench, you better have a lot of firepower to put him at a flex because if you don't, you're probably not going to get much production out of him.
One more defense I'm going to mention again, Miami and Oakland. I love those guys. Pick them up.
Let me help you with some wide receivers.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
good.
let me throw out a couple, just because we talked about Kerry Collins. How about Nate Washington?
Yep.
Kenny Britt came back last week. He looked good. So I would say those two, if they're available on your waivers. I didn't check the percentages on those two. I leave that to Adam. But if they're available, Nate Washington, because they are playing the Texans.
Yeah. I could see Nate Washington having like 1 big catch and 2 smaller ones and pulling a Devry and getting like 3 for 82 and a touchdown this week. I like that for Nate Washington.
I'm a little worried that Kenny Britt's going to blow up because the guy I'm playing against has him.
Right.
If
Like mega targets, Kenny Britt this week?
If I had a mediocre quarterback, I would pick up Kerry Collins to pad myself against that. But since I have Michael Vick, of course I'm not going to bench Michael Vick.
Because you've done that once already, haven't you, Adam?
No, in one of my leagues I had Peyton Manning and Michael Vick, and every week I was like, what do you do? So I mean lately I've been starting Vick. But
you
it's
did
hard
bench
to
Vick one
Manning.
week.
Yeah.
I did bench
That's
him
all
one
I'm
week.
saying.
I did.
That's all I'm saying.
I benched him 1 week.
That's
But
all I'm saying.
Manning had a good game.
Just a minute.
It just was
Vick's a
not
phenomenon.
as good as Vick.
Vick gets you points with his arm and leg. He
Yeah.
stole a touchdown from LaShawn McCoy this weekend.
Yep.
Killed me.
I love it when he
I
does
needed
that.
Shady. I hate when he does
love
that.
when he does that. By the way, Nate Washington is available in 53% of leagues.
Oh, thank you, Adam.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
So,
all right.
Let's go to the viewers.
Yeah. Do we have anybody with any questions for us? We do not have stat guy tonight. So Boss, Scaife, or Owens. There you go, right there. Boss, Scaife, or Terrell Owens.
Since he's against Cleveland, they're at home against Cleveland.
I gotta go Owens.
This is kind of the Ohio grudge match. It's kind of a big deal.
I got to go Owens.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Owens
Smash.
too.
Yeah, I'm going to say
Owens.
Owens. You got to start Owens over Boss and Scaife. I'm going to go back a little bit. Garrard or Collins, who will do better? I like Collins because of the matchup. Any other week, I'd probably take Garrard.
Really?
Collins gets Houston.
You don't like Garrard against Well, Garrard's got Washington this week, right?
No, he's got Indy.
He's got Indy.
But Indy's like the 8th worst pass defense. Houston is like right there at the bottom.
Sure.
They used to be 2nd worst, but now New England has been much better the last 2 weeks.
Garrard's
I'm going with
mobility.
I'm going to go with Garrard.
Yeah, I think
I'm
Garrard's
gonna go with
mobility.
Garrard.
I like Garrard getting a rushing touchdown.
Oh, by the way, for
Or
you who
definite
tuned in
possibility.
last week,
Yeah.
Big Ben had a better game than Jay Cutler.
That's true.
And he was on the Cutler bandwagon.
That's true.
So
Yeah,
we
Cutler,
beat
he
Adam.
sucks.
Yeah, it's true. What beat me was the weather. All right, anyway.
Beat yourself.
I'm going to go
That's true.
Garrard. It's close, but
It's
I like
close.
Garrard
They're
better.
both good starts.
Because Garrard is playing. They're in a position to win that division.
Yeah,
it's
I
a
think they're
playoff
just playing
game for
for a lot
Garrard.
more.
Yeah, had a big smile. He had a wacky jacket on in the press conference. I like Garrard. What else we have?
Actually, Indianapolis's pass defense, by the way, is 8th. 8th in the league.
Oh, they're actually pretty
So-
good. All right.
Oh, it wasn't
It's
Terrell
not
Owens. It was
better.
Owen
Anyway.
Daniels.
Okay, so
Owen Daniels.
Owen Daniels.
I'm
Yeah.
liking this bet. Let's make a bet with that. Garrard Collins, because Indy has a pretty good pass D, I just found out. So I'm saying Collins, and they're saying Garrard, and we'll do it for, say, $20,000. Okay, great. Let's go
Sweet.
on from.
Monopoly money.
I know these guys.
Wow.
With Evans out, will Stevie get some balls? Well, yeah, they're going to throw to Steve Johnson. He's the best wide receiver they've got. I know he's kind of disappeared lately, but I think that's more of a team problem.
I'll tell you, Fitzpatrick is still playing very well. I'm a little leery about this Miami D shutting him down this week. I don't know.
They're playing your
I don't know.
Miami D. What do you
They
think?
are. Adam thinks Miami's going to have a killer game defensively against them. He's picking
I
them.
think so.
Yeah.
I think Buffalo's looked weak lately. Miami, a lot of people don't know this, but Miami is one of those teams that has a very good advantage in their home field because the humidity in Miami, even later in the year, can get weird, and humidity makes you sweat and dehydrates you real quick. Now, if this game was in Buffalo,
What's humidity do to you?
Just trying to find
What
something
is
special.
this?
no, look it up.
About playing in South Florida.
The best home
It
field
makes you
advantage in the
sweat.
league is Denver because of the thin air.
What about
And-
Seattle
and
and the 12th man?
Yeah, but see, that's more of a crowd thing. We're talking about weather conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like later in the year, Buffalo is brutal to play in. Some of these places are brutal to play in. But Miami, because of the humidity, like remember the famous triple overtime playoff game? Chargers, Dolphins?
One of the greatest games ever played.
I mean, and literally guys just dropping like flies because of that humidity. They just couldn't get water in themselves quick
Sure,
enough.
sure.
Fantastic game.
I mean, look, admittedly,
that's why
Buffalo. I should amend my statement. I mean, Buffalo does have. They're in the top. They're in the bottom 10 in total offense.
Stevie Johnson has
But
disappeared
that's
the
'cause they
last
had,
couple
like,
weeks.
that's
He
true,
has
that's
disappeared.
true.
He dropped that ball in the end zone, and it's
now,
haunting
now
him.
that you got
Hasn't
no
been the
Lee
same.
Evans,
He's tweeting
think about
about
this.
God.
What does Miami know they have to do?
They gotta shut down Stevie Johnson.
That's it. And if they do that, the rest of the game is going to be pretty easy.
Yeah.
You know.
They got a little swagger after
and they've
shutting
got a
down,
really good linebacking core, so I'm not
Sanchez.
worried about the run game.
Yeah, I'm not crazy
well,
about that.
Let's answer some more questions.
I want to introduce a new segment.
What's that?
How about this new segment is called "Let's Set Up Rune's Team for the Playoffs." For the
Look at
championship.
this. Look at the monitor. You've got Rune.
Yeah, it's a
That's
triple
awesome.
shot of Rune.
For the championship. That's our new feature.
What is it called?
Set up Rune's team for championship.
What about there's
Okay, all right,
I
we're
think
gonna-
there's more
we
questions
go.
in the room though, Rune.
We'll get back to him, but we're gonna do this with Rune.
All right.
All right, Rune,
So,
go for it.
At quarterback, we're picking between Drew Brees and nobody else.
Of course.
Solved.
I take Breeze,
All
Marty.
right. Let's do,
Yeah.
Drew Brees,
I'm gonna
smash.
go nobody else. No. Okay.
let's do running backs. All right. Steven Jackson, Arian Foster, LeGarrette Blount, Mike Tolbert, and
Jesus.
Jonathan Stewart.
Oh, I'd like to be you for a day.
How many
I
can you
like-
start?
I like Foster, automatically, no doubt about it.
Oh yeah, Foster.
I don't care who they're playing. The kid's way too good. And I like Blunt. He's got Detroit. Detroit is not very good against the run. Don't they get Detroit this week? Or does Miami get Detroit? When am I
No, they
getting
get
that mixed-
Detroit.
Yeah, they get Detroit.
And they're home.
Yeah.
I like Steven Jackson is going to get you points
Oh, that's right. Steven Jackson's
I
got
like
a good match this
against
week too.
Kansas City, and
Yeah.
if Brody Croyle's still in there,
Yeah.
I like Steven Jackson.
All right.
right.
All right. Let's do wide receivers here, real
All right.
quick.
Who'd
Roddy
you
White,
like in that
Larry
lineup?
Fitzgerald,
Yeah.
Mike Wallace, Mike
Larry
Williams,
Fitzgerald, Mike Wallace, Mike Williams. Which
Tampa.
one? Tampa. Okay.
and Sidney Rice.
Sidney Rice. No.
Sidney Rice, no.
I like Mike Williams against Detroit.
Yeah, I like Mike Williams.
I like Mike Williams against Detroit.
And did you say Mike Wallace?
Wallace
Mike
gets the
Wallace.
Jets.
Yeah. Roddy White,
Ooh,
Larry
that
Fitz.
might be a little.
Do you have Roddy White?
reception.
Yep.
Cromartie.
Oh, I'll go Roddy White then.
Yeah, yeah.
Roddy White. Yeah,
There you
yeah.
go.
Roddy White in for sure. All
Roddy
right.
Piper,
Yeah,
no
Roddy
doubt.
White and Mike Wallace.
Yeah.
I mean Mike Williams.
Mike Williams. Yeah.
I don't like Big Ben these last couple weeks. He hasn't put up numbers. Wallace hasn't
no.
played well.
No.
He is hobbling around. I don't like.
I mean, I can't
Wallace
imagine
is
why
scary.
anybody would bet on Big Ben recently. Why did nobody get that but me? All right.
Bet on Big
Tight
Ben.
end. What's your tight end?
Tight end, we got Vernon Davis.
I don't get it.
And Joel Dreesen.
Oh, it's
Still
got to
don't
be
get it.
Davis. Dreesen just lost his job. Yeah.
Now on defenses, we got Oakland and Dallas.
Oakland.
Okay.
Oh, I know it's hard for you because you
No,
love the
Oakland.
Broncos,
I
but
have to watch
I'm
that
telling
game
you, Oakland.
Oakland.
Oakland scores a defensive touchdown this
Still don't
week.
get it.
All
It's
right.
gonna happen because you guys bet on Big Ben and I bet on Cutler last week.
Oh,
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Okay,
you all
I got
did.
it.
Nice callback.
I
thought it was a callback to him in the
Yeah,
bathroom.
say.
or
All
something.
right, let's look at
Okay.
some of these in the chat room. What do we got in the chat room? Let's get to the recent questions. Vic at Giants or Brady at Green Bay?
Oh.
Vic at the Giants or Brady at Green Bay?
That's tough. I
That is tough.
I gotta say Brady because of the matchup.
Well,
But it's like this. It's so tight because Vic can take over a game and just get ridiculous. And Vic, his worst game in the last 5 weeks has still been like 22 points.
I know you don't want to hear this, Adam.
Huh.
But guess who has like the number 1 or 2 pass defense in the NFL right now?
The Giants,
The Packers.
the Packers.
The Green Bay Packers have the third behind the Jets. Excuse me, behind the Giants and the Chargers. The Packers are third. So you've got 2 of the best fantasy quarterbacks going up against 2 of the top 3 defenses this week.
But here's the problem.
Go with God.
Here's the problem with this. I'm going to tell you what the problem is right now. That didn't matter when they played the Jets. It's not going to matter when the Jets have a very good pass defense.
Look,
Maybe
Brady
not as good, but
look, I'm not a Brady defender. The guy's picking everybody apart right now.
and not only that, there's like 8 guys on his team he can rely on to catch touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm just more comfortable with Brady going on the road right now in Green Bay than I am Vic going into New York after what they did to them last time.
I
in
agree.
Philly.
I'm saying
Yeah,
Brady,
yeah.
but
Brady's
it's
at home.
real close.
Brady's
Yeah.
at home in New England.
Yeah, it's
and,
real close, but
Oh,
Brady.
what? Really?
Brady's at
Oh,
home.
I'm sorry. I thought
and they
they were
might be
going-
playing.
I thought they were going to Green Bay.
They may not be playing Rodgers. So
We're
that,
gonna-
Oh, they don't lose at home. He's a
Yeah.
master. Forget it.
we're
Sorry.
Brady. I'm
We're
with
going to say
Brady.
Brady. And I'll tell you what, if Rodgers starts, it's even better for Brady because it means they might have to throw more. If Rodgers doesn't start, that might hurt you because he might get a quick couple of touchdowns and then, they don't have to score any more points because really without Rodgers, that offense is lost.
Two good choices though.
But yeah.
Wow.
Blunt or Jay Stewart?
Blunt.
Yeah, I like Blunt. He gets Detroit.
He's their game right now.
and
Everything
they get
goes through
Detroit.
him.
They're going to pound the
I like
ball
Blunt.
a lot. I like Blunt a
Blunt.
lot.
Yeah, Josh Freeman isn't passing for 350
Yeah.
yards up in
They
Detroit.
beat teams with losing records.
Right.
It happens.
Yeah.
They haven't lost to a team with a losing record yet this season.
And we're changing the world here. So everybody does
We
their
are the
part.
world. We are the children.
All right. Next.
Next.
What else we got? I'm looking up.
Don't bet on Big Ben.
What do we think about Santonio Holmes against Pitt? Don't
know
even
anything?
think about it. Is what I think. You sit everybody against Pittsburgh. Jets are a mess. Pittsburgh is
I'm
the best
benching.
defense. Bench the whole team.
Bench.
Vincent Jackson and Floyd against San Francisco. Pick 2. I'd go Jackson and Floyd.
Pick 2.
Well, it was all 3 of those: Holmes, Jackson, and Floyd.
Oh,
So
yeah.
You got to go Jackson and Floyd
and
because
Floyd.
Holmes gets
Yeah.
shut down. Holmes doesn't do much this week. He's had a confidence shaking week, and playing the Pittsburgh Steelers will not help your confidence. So
No way.
Tashard Choice. What about Choice this week?
I think he's too busy getting autographs.
Oh, I thought there was nothing wrong with that.
Come on, he's chasing down
It was
Mike
for his
Vick
nephew. It
after
was
the
for
game.
I
Christmas.
thought it was
Who
fine. When
cares?
it comes to the kids, you do irrational
Yeah.
things, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's a sign of respect.
I think it also says
Cut
a
the
lot
guy
about a
some
guy who
slack.
can say, "Yeah, I know you're on the other team, but you're awesome." And
Yeah.
I'm
You beat us and I
I'm man
idolize
enough
you.
to say you're amazing.
Right. And
Sign
can you
this
give me
for
some tips about
Sign
starting
my
up
ass.
the
You're
business?
incredible.
I
Yeah,
knew
exactly.
he had trouble against the Eagles. I like him as a flex this week. Not your second running back, but if you have a chance to start a third, they do play the Redskins. I like Choice as your third.
Mirrors 54321 earlier asked, keep playing Tammy or get Scaife?
Scaife.
Tammy, Jacksonville gives up a
What?
lot of passing yards.
I gotta say,
Tammy.
Tammy's better. I like Scaife
Oh,
as a
guys.
pickup, but Tammy,
You want to
Okay.
bet?
I like Tammy.
Jabber? Jabber? You would.
interesting.
You guys.
It's not.
Interesting.
It's not as far apart as we're making it sound.
It's not
They're
as far
both good
apart.
plays.
Tammy made.
But I like
check
Tammy
the
better.
injury report because Tammy was on and off
Yeah.
the injury report last week, and I saw he was slow in that last game,
Yeah.
but now he's had
Yeah,
a long rest.
You know what?
He's had
Sure,
a
I'll
long
take that
layover.
bet.
All right,
I'll take that bet.
let's go.
PBR?
Oh,
No, it's
sure.
flowing. The PBR's
PBR
flowing,
is
baby.
flowing.
It's flowing.
How's
I'm
my,
taking Scaife.
And by the way, Steven Jackson's destroying Sean Green.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it
on
doesn't
our
mean he's
opening
better.
bet.
Doesn't mean he's better.
Destroying.
All right, guys. Any more questions? Because we're almost done. I got a question for you guys. Any of you guys in the chat room? I've got tight end issues.
All right.
Wow, that was weird.
It affects a lot of men my age. So thank you very much.
He's gonna bet on Big
Tight end.
Ben.
Oh, hey, look at Ray!
And that's why the Panthers are not winning ball games.
Because they're too busy looking at that, and
That
they should be.
was not that much to look at. That was too much to look at.
My problem at tight end is my tight ends are Aaron Hernandez, who's he's broken my heart.
Of course he has.
And Joel Dreesen, who I'm dropping. And so the question is, do I pick up Owen Daniels or do I pick up Bo Scaife? That's kind of like a
Same game.
because I'm only going to pick up one of them.
Bo Scaife. Although I have to say, it's not like Bo Scaife has had
He had one
that
game.
many great games. But
I like Owen Daniels.
Cheddar 11 says
all
Owen.
right, fine.
I like Owen.
Take Owen.
Yeah, I don't trust these guys. So
Hey,
I'm going to go with
Owen.
the
Never
guy I've
trust
never
me.
met in the chat room. Marshall,
Never
VJax,
trust me.
Harvin need one.
Marshall V. Jax Harvin.
Oh.
Well, I got
Miami is playing
Buffalo.
Buffalo. By the way, Buffalo's pass defense also in the top. I think it's fourth behind the Packers. or
the
fifth.
whole chat room's going Owen Daniels. Like,
Yeah.
Not even close.
Okay, I'm going to say, wow, that's tough. Marshall, Vincent Jackson, or Harvin.
Jackson.
Harvin's in a bad situation because number one, he might not play because he's got this migraine thing coming
He's
back.
out.
And that team's a mess
the
now.
Niners defense is good.
Yeah. You got to go Marshall.
It's Thursday
I like
night.
Vincent Jackson.
No, I think you go Vincent Jackson.
Vincent Jackson.
You go Vincent Jackson.
V. Jax.
I'm going Marshall.
I'm going V. Jax.
I like Marshall.
Nate Clements will be locked up on Malcolm Floyd all night, and it'll open things up for VJax.
Oh, yeah, look
he's
at-
not
Or he
the
might
number
be
one
locked
guy
up
yet.
on VJax.
No, I don't think he's the number one guy. I think Malcolm Floyd is the number one target there right now.
I
Definitely.
think Vincent Jackson isn't the number one target just because he's not back in shape.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Malcolm
fine.
Floyd's the number one
Regardless of the
target.
reason, Malcolm
is,
Floyd's the
he
guy
is
right now.
but he's holding the
But
place.
without
they need to
Antonio
stop.
Gates, Vincent Jackson's going to get his.
Right, so I say you take Vincent Jackson.
I say
think
Vincent
Marshall's got
Jackson.
a tough matchup.
And
Cheddar
San
11
Diego
said
is
you'll
a-
regret it.
Miami's not that good at home.
What's that?
You know, Miami's not very good at home.
Miami's not that good at home, but
And Marshall's got a tough task.
What,
I
Marshall
really
had
like
one
him this
catch
week.
last week for a
He
touchdown?
sucks.
He had one catch.
Jackson, Harvin's too much of a gamble.
All right. Well, Harvin definitely not. But
Vincent Jackson.
I love you, Harvin.
yeah,
Anything else? You got anything else right there?
that's it. We got anything else, guys? Any more
Rune?
questions? All right. Well,
Let me see. Wait, maybe I'll throw one out for you.
that's
my
we'll,
team.
we'll
Is that
wrap
it
it
for our
up here
show?
real quick. I love the fact that we have a chat room that's going off. East Coast time. It is 1:30. No, 2:30 in the
Give him
morning.
a big thank you. Give him a shout
Yeah.
out. You know, Jabber loves shout outs. I lost
love
power on
shout-
my
You
computer.
guys are watching me type to you
We
right
went
now.
so long.
Is it fascinating or what?
63% at 10 o'clock.
All right. So
I don't want to go. Let's keep
We love
going.
you all.
We love you
Remember-
guys. Thank you for spending your Monday night with us.
seriously, and
It might have been
remember-
our most.
Yeah, pregame Twitter updates. You see it right over here. See where I'm pointing the football? Right, it's right over there.
There it is.
Stupid.
Look,
the number 4 football.
a man
I
up.
will tweet you all the late breaking news Sunday morning, Thursday night. I will take care of that for you.
Places you can take him on a date.
I will be up late on Thursday night because I'll be watching the game, and then I'm going to go see Tron midnight showing. I love Tron. I'm very excited.
Why don't you tell everybody where you're going to see it, Adam?
I'm going to see it at the Burbank AMC 16.
Oh.
Come and meet me in line.
Gosh.
All right.
Meet the world famous Adam.
That's right.
Super
I'll be there.
genius.
I'll be easy to find. I'll be with my best friend, Big Dave. He's a 6'10" stuntman, bald. If you see a guy and you think that guy's going to kill me, that's my buddy. Come over and say hi. All right.
Later,
Thanks a lot, guys.
players.
Have a good week.